Hey guys, Shadow here, and in this video I will show you all of Hellion's abilities as well as how to deal with them. Please remember to thumbs up this video if you have found it useful, follow me on Twitch at the link in the description, as well as subscribing here for more Dauntless content. Hellion is the hardest behemoth to solo in tier 4. He has elemental weakness towards frost and resistance towards blaze, so I highly suggest to get a Pangar weapon before facing him, especially solo. You can also, like me, use a shroud weapon if you're confident in your abilities. Scribe weapon is also a good option, but if you're going to go solo against Hellion, you might as well kill Pangar once before and get the weapon from him. Again, I'm using my trusty sword, but if you're good at timing evades and know your way around the axe, I suggest you go for the axe. Good axe players will deal with Hellion very fast, especially after the new patch buffs to the axe. He deals partial blaze damage, and some of his abilities also cause a blaze damage over time effect, so the minimum armor wise for facing him is either a maxed out Embermane armor from tier 3 or a full set of Karabakh armor from tier 4. Your other option is to do him a couple of times with a group and get a full set of armor from him like I did before facing him solo. You can, like other people, kill him with any type of armor or weapon, but this guide is meant for people who want to have a good chance against him and are not hell-bent on solo killing behemoths in the hardest way possible. I will be doing a future video where I solo kill all tier 4 behemoths with tier 3 or lower gear, so do keep a watch on the channel for those. Now, let's check out his abilities. His first ability is Rock and Roll. Hellion will burrow in the ground and after a couple of seconds jump out of a second hole towards a given player. He will then slam the ground while rolling and cause a big amount of damage on impact. The best way to evade this is to sprint in a sideways direction from his trajectory and rolling once or twice. This must be done after he has appeared from the second hole, because his trajectory is always in a straight line, but I have found that if you sprint and evade towards or away from his trajectory, the hit radius on landing is so huge that it will 9 out of 10 times hit you. Some of his abilities, like this one, will leave lava pools on the ground, so be careful to not step over them because they will deal instant damage and apply a damage over time effect. His second ability is Charge. Hellion will face towards a given player and charge in his direction. This move is the easiest one to evade because even if you solo him, the direction in which he charges sometimes is not precise and you can roll out or just sprint out of this way. The hit radius, however, is big, so do not stand near him while he charges. His third ability is Tail Slam. This move is similar to the Tail Slam of the Rage Tail Gnasher, if not identical to it. Hellion will jump, rotate his body and slam the ground with his tail. Evade by rolling away from his tail, since the impact range is mostly around it. Destroying his tail will disable this ability. His fourth ability is Body Slam. Hellion will jump and hit the ground with one side of his body. Try to evade away from the direction in which he is falling. Also, the hit radius is smaller around his head and tail. You might not get hit at all if you stand near the end of his tail. Like the Tail Slam, destroying his tail will disable the Body Slam ability also. His fifth ability is Kick. Hellion will lift his leg and quickly kick backwards, hitting the players near his leg and behind it. To evade it, just roll towards his head or towards his other leg. His sixth ability is Stomp. Similar to Kick, he will lift his leg but slowly and then slam the ground. You can evade in any direction, including towards his other leg, but if you roll towards his other leg, be sure that you will roll to the outer side of the leg, because this ability will deal damage to you if you stand between both legs or near the inside part of the opposing leg. His seventh ability is Headbutt. Similar to Stormclaw, Hellion will do a wide headbutt hitting players in front of him. However, his tail would also do at the same time a half swipe, so be careful and try to evade towards his body or outside the head and tail range. Both his head and tail will do damage when doing this ability, and on the way back it is a two-directional ability, so be careful to dodge twice. His final ability is Tail Swipe. The Tail Swipe is similar to the Gnasher Tail Swipe, with the minor difference that it has an incredible range and he swipes almost 240 degrees of radius from the starting point. The tail will deal damage with both the initial swing and the secondary swing, which return it to a normal position. I found it easiest to stay around his legs or front body during this move, so that you can evade it. Alternatively, the other option is to roll away or towards him when he first swings and another time when the tail swings back. Now, Just like Karabakh, Hellion has two special stages, Blaze Mode and Enraged. Both of them make the fight more difficult, especially if they happen one after another. First we'll look at Hellion's Enraged. When he goes in Enraged, he will do several fast stomps with his legs just like Rage Tail Gnasher does, so stick in front of his head or near his tail. During the Enrage, most of his abilities will be faster than usual, and his tail swipe will do a full 360-degree swing, so be extremely careful with that one. He does not gain any new abilities during Enrage, and I have not noticed a tremendous increase in the damage he deals. He also does not apply any sort of debuff if he hits you during Enrage stage. His second stage is Blaze Mode. I'm still testing how exactly he gets into this stage. There is a correlation between the glowing parts of his body and entering this phase, and I'm speculating here, but it may be possible to not let him enter this stage if you constantly switch the parts of his body that you're attacking. Basically attack the parts that are glowing rather than the parts which are dark. When he enters Blaze Mode, his body will be engulfed in flames and other parts will glow bright red. He will also release orange spheres around him. These spheres will give you immunity to blaze debuffs, increase your movement speed, attack speed, and slightly increase your damage, and they are also stackable. You can cause him to release more spheres by hitting his tail, head, or upper body part while he's in Blaze Mode. Also, he gains a new ability which causes him to walk backwards and use a fire breath attack at the same time. During this ability, if you have a sphere buff, you can just chase after him and deal damage because you will be immune to the fire breath. Also, the fire breath will spawn more spheres too. My advice is to let him go in this stage and attack and gather as many spheres as possible, since the effects last for quite some time and make the fight a lot easier and faster to finish. Finally, Hellion can have the following body parts destroyed for extra loot: his tail, his head, both of his legs and both of his arms. This is everything about Hellion and his abilities. Be sure to check my full solo fight against him by clicking the link down in the description or at the end of this video. Also, do not forget to follow me on Twitch for Dauntless streaming, again link is down below. Thumbs up the video if you have found it useful, leave a comment if you have a suggestion or any criticism, share the video as you see fit, and lastly do not forget to subscribe for more content like this.